Hello and welcome back to my astrology podcast, Traversing the Cosmos. Yes, I've decided to alter the name just a little bit. Cosmos just flows the way I want it to, so we're rolling with it. Welcome back to Traversing the Cosmos. My name is Fola and I am grateful to have you here. Whether you are a newbie or a returning friend, I thank you and I hope you enjoy the ride. We're starting off this second week of April with a bang. On Monday, April 8th, we will be experiencing the Aries Solar Eclipse, taking place at 19 degrees. This eclipse is happening at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and is forming a conjunction with the asteroid Chiron. If you have yet to check out my podcast on Chiron, The Wounded Healer, definitely go check it out. I break down some key points about Chiron's story in Greek mythology, give you a personal account, and a brief overview of how the energy shows up according to the sign and house it is in. To keep it short, sweet, and simple, Chiron means major healing vibes. Any planetary interaction with Chiron may bring up points of pain, the relief of releasing wounding, or both. And the fact that this eclipse is taking place in an exact conjunction with Chiron, I mean, the sun, moon, and Chiron are all at 19 degrees and 24 minutes precisely. The intensity of this fiery cleansing will be turned all the way up. It feels like Phoenix rebirth energy. Now, remember, whenever a planet, asteroid, or fixed star makes a conjunction with the sun, it is called a Cazimi. Cazimi describes the moment when a planet is the closest it can be to the sun. This positioning tends to magnify the impact and illuminate something previously obscured or blocked. The Chiron Cazimi in Aries on its own is a powerful moment and push to actively engage in healing the ego and relationship to self. Chiron in Aries shows up as a deep wounding around courage, self-assertion, and our self-view. It wants to do a full inventory of the way we take action and how we show up for ourselves. When and why do we make ourselves smaller than designed? Bringing the moon into the equation is allowing us to not only experience the revelation a Cazimi can offer, but to actively understand the emotional depth of whatever is being recognized or moved beyond. The potential for deep-seated inner child work is enhanced. The moon in Aries has an uncanny ability to know just when initiating change is most beneficial. It is deeply invested in self-preservation and will be able to quickly sort through the things that have been suffocating your ability to thrive. The pursuit of happiness is what the moon in Aries does best. Let it guide you to relieve the psyche of ways of being that keep you just out of reach from existing as the most satisfied version of yourself. This eclipse has arrived to reshape the collective ego. Any conflict you encounter on this day is destined to bring change. It is here to ask each of us what we really want and how we need to shift into a more authentic version of ourselves. What are we willing to sacrifice to get there? Make no mistake, there is absolutely a gift in all of this, but there is also something begging to be purged. Maybe you were made blatantly aware of what that is during the last eclipse in Libra, but maybe you have yet to really sever the cord. Until now. You will be reminded of this personal barrier in order to fully transcend it. You are being asked to be honest with yourself and with others about where your heart is leading you. What are you afraid of? What is currently standing in your way? You will have to take a risk and go out on a limb. This energy will be pushing us to bet on ourselves and see our true potential. To begin an area of our life all over again with fresh eyes and a new sense of freedom. The sun, the moon, and Chiron coming together to form this powerful eclipse with the North Node in Aries feels to me like a graduation point. Like you are finishing up the final credits to get your degree and finally start life out in the real world. The sun is highlighting our will and drive to take inspired action and boldly move forward. The moon has you laser focused on personal fulfillment. Chiron is the wise teacher instilling in you prowess and confidence in who you are and what you are capable of. Then there's the North Node in Aries. The North Node is showing up with your diploma in hand, telling you it's time. Time to leap. Time to trust yourself. Let go and go. Answer these questions for me. What aspect of self have I been healing since last June? What patterns have I seen show up regarding the way I assert myself? When and where do I make myself smaller for others? How can I take action towards being more authentic? After the Aries solar eclipse has dissipated, we will officially be out of eclipse season, but not before the next couple of interactions take place in the sky. The thick air of change will linger on in the atmosphere for more than a few days and will absolutely be present on April 10th when Mars conjuncts Saturn, the malefic, in Pisces. Saturn is considered a malefic planet due to its restrictive nature. It is the lord of time and maturity, and thus can be the bearer of obstacles and accountability. Saturn sees the highest potential in us and holds us to a standard that will ensure our ability to handle the pressure of what we can achieve. Saturn loves structure and rules. It rewards us when we stay true to our commitments and doles out reprimands for straying from the path. The questions this planet wants us to answer are, how have we improved? How have we stayed committed to our personal refinement? Saturn in Pisces is all about strengthening our ability to make firm personal boundaries. It is here to make you aware of how victim mentality shows up in your world and is refining our ability to make decisions from a state of wholeness. This iteration of Saturn is forcing us to abandon our tendencies to lose ourselves in the chaos of life. It will ask you to face any form of escapism that calls to you and demand that you stay present and grounded. It wants you to surrender to kind-heartedness, to cultivate your spiritual practices, take care of your mental well-being, and to find your place in your natural flow of life. Yours, no one else's. What I am visualizing when I try to get a read on the energy of this day is darkness, not in the evil way, but in the touch tunnel kind of way. If you've ever been to Liberty Science Center, you know what I'm talking about. It's this pitch black tunnel maze thing that tests your ability to find your way to the end, to the light, by depending on your other four senses. Instead of taking away our sense of sight, Saturn is removing any vice or codependency we normally rely on in order to test our resolve. Can we find the light? Even when we are fearful, can we find the light? Usually, when Mars and Saturn link up in the sky, it means things are coming to a grinding halt. Mars has a wrench thrown into its plans as Saturn's restrictions are firmly put in place. Though I'm not exactly feeling the harsh, penalizing energy for this particular transit, as Saturn and Mars cross paths at 14 degrees of the eldest water sign, the paternal energy of Saturn feels like it's shifted and softened a bit. It's giving King of Cups energy, warm and big-hearted, instead of its usual emotionless King of Swords. Simultaneously, Mars, very laid back in the sign of Pisces, feels like it's floating to its destination rather than running full tilt. This may also soften the impact of this conjunction. Instead of hitting a brick wall at full speed, it may feel more like driving in a residential area, 25 miles an hour with stop signs everywhere. You are frustrated, but not completely down and out. Slow and steady is the motto and the safest bet for everyone. Mars and Saturn are here to deliver a boundaries check on all fronts. A check-in that's firm but kind. The people, places, and activities in our lives are under review, as is our commitment to our responsibilities. It will be like the guiding hand of a loving father who only wants to see his kids succeed. It may be slightly more uncomfortable to face if you have been slacking off versus if you've been putting in the work to hone your skills. Nonetheless, accountability from Saturn in Pisces comes today in gentle solutions. Questions to ponder. What part of my life deserves more dedication than I previously allowed? Is there a habit that I cling to for comfort that I've outgrown? What activities do I engage in to keep myself centered and grounded? When things go differently than I expect, how often do I blame others? Where in my life do I overextend myself? The final transit of today's podcast is our Mercury Cazimi. We already touched on what a Cazimi means earlier, but this is when Mercury and the Sun are coming together at 22 degrees of Aries. They're going to chat about what they've learned since the equinox and about the direction you're heading in. The messenger is sharing some downloads it received during the first week of retrograde, and the Sun is picking up the energy and moving forward with the new information. Now, in order to get said downloads, I do believe Mercury will be causing quite a few issues in our lives on or around this day. Due to the retrograde, this encounter will be a spotlight on how we can elevate our communication by revealing exactly how it is falling apart in the present moment. Expect miscommunications and misunderstandings, tempers and impatience, impulsivity and defensiveness, not to mention a lack of focus. Try to take things with a grain of salt today. Know that anything you bump up against is not there to completely derail you. It is happening to grab your attention and make you look at something that can easily be adjusted. Ask yourself this: how can you be more clear and direct when communicating? Does being direct and coming across irritated go hand in hand for you? When can you offer people more grace than you have in the past? What energy are you giving off? What do you look like when you are short on patience? How can you tell the difference between inspiration and impulse? When do you feel the need to defend yourself and why? How can you maintain a better focus? What in your life gets first priority? Now, those are a lot of questions, I know, but think about them, ponder them, if you will. The goal of the Mercury Cazimi in Aries is to exemplify the beautiful qualities of an Aries Mercury and observe the denser qualities. The wonderful side of Mercury in Aries can bring us wild inspiration and off-the-cuff ideas. It can also give us the courage to say what we have been holding in, or be the one to verbalize what everyone was thinking. There's an assertiveness that Mercury in Aries carries with dignity. It knows that being straightforward is not only the best way to be honest and unapologetic about who you are, but that it's also the way to solve problems the fastest. This Mercury may not be the best at long-term commitment, but it is a rock star at completing short-term goals simply by directing all of its energy at the thing in front of it that needs to be fixed. Closed mouths don't get fed is the motto, and Mercury in Aries wants everyone to feel full. Numero uno first, of course. I suggest you keep a pad and pen nearby to jot down any ideas that pop up for you today. After all, Mercury Cazimi is called Epiphany Day. Light bulbs and bright ideas are the general theme. With Aries ruling the energy, there may be a whirlwind of creative proposals coming to the forefront. Write them down for future consideration and check back in with these ideas throughout the rest of Mercury's time in Aries. You may find that there is a gem waiting for you to actualize. Thank you to all of the listeners, new and old, for your presence. I appreciate you and wish you nothing but the best. Take good care of yourself during the rest of eclipse season, and feel free to let me know how you've experienced the energy of these transits down in the comments section. If you would like an in-depth chart or tarot reading, please email me at cosmicbelongingllc@gmail.com. Until next time. Oh, and please don't forget, you belong. Bye. Bye now.